Welcome back to Rare Coin HQ. Today we're uncovering a Washington quarter that looks completely ordinary, but could be worth a fortune. Some of these coins have sold for jaw-dropping prices, and the craziest part? You might already have one in your pocket. Let's break down what makes this quarter so valuable. First up, the 1970 Washington quarter dollar with a D mint mark, a coin that may look old, dirty, and worn, but still has a story worth hearing. You might find one like this in a box of old coins, a drawer, or even mixed in with loose change from years ago. At first glance, it may not look special, but this small coin comes from a long line of American history and can still catch the eye of collectors. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington, the first president of the United States. By 1970, this design had already been in use for many years and was a common part of daily life in America. The D Mint mark on this coin tells us it was made at the Denver Mint, one of the main coin-producing facilities in the United States. Mint marks are important because they show where a coin was made, and sometimes certain mints produce coins that are harder to find. Looking at the front of the coin, you will see the portrait of George Washington facing left. Over time, this coin has developed clear signs of wear. The high points, such as Washington's hair and cheek, appear smooth from years of handling. Around the edge, the words Liberty and the date 1970 are still visible, along with the phrase "In God We Trust." Even though the coin is worn, the main details can still be read, which is always a good sign. On the back, the design shows a bald eagle with its wings spread wide, holding arrows and an olive branch. This design stands for strength and peace. Above the eagle are the words United States of America, and below it reads quarter dollar. The motto E Pluribus Unum can also be seen. On a coin in old, dirty condition, the eagle's feathers may look smooth, and the finer details may be harder to see, but the overall design should still be clear. Now let's talk about the condition. This coin is described as old and dirty, which usually means it has been in circulation for a long time. You will likely see scratches, small marks, and areas where the surface looks dull. These are normal signs of use. The coin may also have a darker or uneven color due to dirt, oil, or natural toning over time. While it may not look attractive, this kind of aging is common and does not always reduce interest. Even with wear, the key thing collectors look for is whether the main design and lettering are still visible. If the details can still be seen clearly, the coin still holds value as a collectible item, even if it is not in perfect shape. Now here is something many people do not realize. Even coins from 1970 can have small minting errors that make them more valuable. These can include doubling in the letters or numbers, where the design looks slightly repeated or blurred. Some coins may have been struck slightly off-center, causing part of the design to shift. Others may show small die cracks, which appear as thin raised lines on the surface. The D Mint mark also plays a role in collector interest. While many coins were made at the Denver Mint, collectors still compare coins from different mints to find rare differences. In some cases, certain mint marks combined with errors or better condition can increase a coin's value. Most 1970 Washington quarters are made from a copper-nickel blend, not silver, which is another detail to keep in mind. However, condition and errors still matter more than metal in many cases when it comes to collector value. You might be wondering if a coin like this could be worth more than 25 cents. In many cases, a worn example is still only worth a small amount, but coins with clear error features or better detail can sell for much more. In some cases, collectors have paid over $56,000 for a 1970 D Washington quarter with strong error details or higher quality features. If you think you may have a valuable coin, the best thing to do is handle it carefully. Avoid cleaning it, as cleaning can lower its value. Keep it in a safe place and consider having it checked by a coin dealer or grading service. When it comes time to sell, you can use coin shops, auctions, or online platforms where collectors are always searching for interesting coins. Clear pictures and honest descriptions will help you get better attention. What makes this coin special is not just its possible value, but its place in everyday life. It was used in stores, vending machines, and daily purchases, passing through many hands over the years. So the next time you see a 1970 Washington quarter with a D Mint mark, do not ignore it. Take a closer look at its details, its wear, and anything unusual. Because even an old, dirty coin can carry history, and sometimes it can carry hidden value too. Next up, the 1971 Washington quarter dollar with a D Mint mark, a coin that has clearly seen years of use in everyday handling. It may not look impressive at first, especially in heavily circulated condition, but coins like this carry history in every scratch and worn detail. Many people overlook them because they appear common, yet even a well-used coin can still hold interest for collectors who know what to look for. By 1971, the Washington quarter had already been part of American life for decades. First introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington, the design remained largely the same through the years. The D Mint mark on this coin shows it was produced at the Denver Mint, which is one of the main mints in the United States. Mint marks matter because they help identify where a coin was made, and sometimes certain years and mints can have small differences that collectors pay attention to. Looking at the front of the coin, you will see the portrait of George Washington facing left. On a heavily circulated example like this, the high points such as the hair, cheek, and jawline are very smooth. Years of handling have worn down the fine details, making the design look softer and less sharp than when it was first struck. Even so, the word liberty, the phrase "In God We Trust," and the date 1971 are still visible, though they may not appear as bold as they once did. On the back, the coin shows the familiar eagle with wings spread wide, holding arrows and an olive branch. This design represents strength and peace. On a heavily circulated coin, the eagle's feathers are often worn flat, and the fine lines in the wings may be hard to see. However, the main shape of the eagle and the words United States of America and quarter dollar are still readable, which is important for identification. Now let's talk about the condition in more detail. A heavily circulated coin has been used for many years and shows strong signs of wear. You will notice many surface scratches, small marks, and areas where the coin looks dull. The color may also appear darker or uneven due to dirt, oils, and natural aging. This dirty look is common and does not always mean the coin is damaged. In fact, it shows the coin has been part of everyday life for a long time. Even though the coin is worn, collectors still look at how much detail remains. If the main design and lettering are still visible, the coin can still have interest. Heavily circulated coins are not rare by themselves, but they can still become valuable if they show something unusual. This brings us to an important point. Some 1971 Washington quarters have minting errors that make them stand out. These can include doubling in the letters or numbers, where parts of the design look slightly repeated. Some coins may be struck off-center, where the design is not perfectly aligned. Others may show small die cracks, which appear as thin raised lines across the surface. These kinds of errors are not easy to spot, but they can make a big difference. A coin that looks ordinary at first could become much more interesting if one of these features is present. The D Mint mark also plays a role. While many quarters were made in Denver in 1971, collectors still compare coins from different mints and years to find rare variations. Even small differences can matter when it comes to collecting. Another thing to understand is the metal of the coin. By 1971, Washington quarters were no longer made from silver. Instead, they were made from a copper-nickel blend. This means the value usually depends more on condition and errors rather than metal content. In terms of value, most heavily circulated 1971 D quarters are still worth close to their face value. However, coins with strong error features or unusual details can sell for much more. In some cases, collectors have paid over $57,400 for a 1971 D quarter with clear doubling or other rare minting errors. If you think you may have a coin worth more than 25 cents, it is important to handle it carefully. Do not clean it, as cleaning can lower its value. Keep it safe and consider having it checked by a coin dealer or grading service. When it comes time to sell, you can use coin shops, auction houses, or online platforms where collectors search for coins like this. Clear images and honest descriptions can help you get better attention. What makes this coin special is not just the chance of value, but the journey it has taken. It has been used in everyday life, passed from one person to another, and has quietly become a part of history. So the next time you come across a 1971 Washington quarter with a D Mint mark, take a closer look. Even in heavily circulated condition, it may hold more than just spare change. It may hold a story, and sometimes, it may hold hidden value waiting to be discovered. Next up, we take a closer look at a coin that many people have seen but very few truly notice. A coin that may look dark, worn, and even a little dirty, yet still carries a story that collectors find fascinating. The 1972 Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark, found today in circulated condition with black coloration, is one of those coins that often gets ignored in everyday change. At first glance, it may seem like nothing more than an old quarter with a dull surface and faded details. But in the world of coin collecting, even coins like this can hold hidden value and surprising history. The story of this coin begins with the long-running Washington quarter series, which started back in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1972, this coin had already been in use for decades and had become one of the most recognized coins in the United States. During this time, the U.S. Mint was producing large numbers of quarters for daily use, and the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time, struck millions of these coins. That is why this coin has no mint mark, and that detail is actually important. A missing mint mark on a 1972 quarter means it was made in Philadelphia, which helps collectors identify its origin. Now let's talk about the condition, because this is where many people lose interest, but collectors start paying closer attention. This particular coin is in circulated, dirty condition with black coloration. That means it has been used in everyday transactions for a long time. The high points of the design, like Washington's hair and cheek, are worn down and appear flat. The eagle's feathers on the reverse are also less detailed. There are scratches, nicks, and small dents across the surface, which is normal for a coin that has been handled so much. The black coloration you see on the coin is caused by oxidation and environmental exposure. Over time, the metal reacts with air, moisture, and dirt, causing it to darken. This is very common for older coins, especially those that have not been stored carefully. While some people think this makes the coin less valuable, collectors often see it as a sign that the coin has not been cleaned or altered. Natural toning can actually be a good thing, as it shows the coin has aged honestly. One very important tip is to never clean a coin like this. Cleaning can remove the natural surface and reduce its value. Even though the coin looks dirty, that surface is part of its history. Collectors prefer coins in their original condition, even if they are dark or worn. Now here's where things get interesting. While most 1972 quarters are common, there are certain rare varieties and errors that can make this coin much more valuable. Some 1972 quarters are known for doubled die errors, where the lettering or design appears slightly doubled. Others may have off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned. There can also be die cracks, weak strikes, or unusual surface features caused during the minting process. These errors are rare, but they are the reason collectors carefully check even the most worn coins. A coin does not need to be shiny or perfect to be valuable. In fact, many important discoveries have been made in coins that look just like this one: dark, dirty, and heavily used. The key is to look closely and know what to search for. Even though a normal 1972 quarter in this condition is usually worth only its face value, rare error versions can reach surprising prices. Some collectors have paid between $78,500 and $82,000 for coins with strong, clear errors and high demand. These values depend on the type of error and how visible it is, but they show how powerful rarity can be in the coin market. Another important point is the role of the mint mark, or in this case, the absence of one. Coins without a mint mark from this period come from Philadelphia, and while they were produced in large numbers, they can still have unique features or errors. Knowing where the coin was made helps collectors compare it with known varieties and understand its potential value. If you ever come across a coin like this, take a moment to examine it carefully. Look at the details, check for anything unusual, and compare it with other coins from the same year. If something stands out, it may be worth getting it checked by a professional or showing it to a coin expert. Sometimes, the smallest detail can make the biggest difference. When it comes to selling, patience is very important. A coin with potential value should not be rushed into a quick sale. It is always better to research, confirm its features, and find the right buyer. Many collectors sell coins through dealers, online platforms, or auctions, but knowing what you have is the most important step. In the end, the 1972 Washington quarter without a mint mark in circulated, dirty, blackened condition is a perfect reminder that value is not always easy to see. A coin that looks worn and ordinary can still hold history, mystery, and even the chance of something special. It has traveled through time, passed through many hands, and survived years of use. Next up, we take a closer look at a coin that many people have seen countless times but rarely stop to think about. A coin that may look old, dirty, and worn, yet still carries a story that collectors find very interesting. The 1974 Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark, found today in old and dirty circulated condition, is one of those coins that often gets overlooked in everyday change. At first glance, it may seem like nothing more than a dull quarter with faded details and a rough surface. But in the world of coin collecting, even coins like this can hold hidden value and surprising history. The story of this coin begins with the long-running Washington quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. By the time 1974 came around, this coin had already become one of the most familiar coins in the United States. It was used daily in shops, markets, and vending machines, passing through millions of hands. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at that time, produced a large number of these coins, which is why this particular piece has no mint mark. For collectors, that missing mint mark is not an error, it simply tells them where the coin was made. Looking at the design, the front of the coin shows the well-known portrait of George Washington facing left. Above his head is the word Liberty, while In God We Trust appears to the left, and the date 1974 sits below. Even in worn condition, these features are usually still visible, though they may appear soft and less detailed. On the back, the coin features a strong image of an eagle with its wings spread wide, holding arrows and olive branches. This design represents both strength and peace, and it has been a symbol of American identity for many years. The words United States of America and quarter dollars surround the eagle, completing the classic look of the coin. Now let's talk about the condition, because this is where the coin really tells its story. This 1974 quarter is described as old and dirty, which means it has been in circulation for a long time. The surface likely has a dull, grayish tone with areas of darker discoloration caused by dirt, oil, and environmental exposure. The high points of the design, like Washington's hair and cheek, are worn down and appear flat. The eagle's feathers on the reverse are also less defined. There are scratches, nicks, and small dents across the surface, which is completely normal for a coin that has been used for many years. The dirty appearance and darker color come from natural wear and oxidation. Over time, the metal reacts with air and moisture, causing it to lose its original shine. While some people might think this makes the coin less valuable, collectors often see it differently. A coin that has not been cleaned or altered can actually be more desirable, because it shows its true, original condition. Cleaning a coin like this can remove important surface details and reduce its value, so it is always best to leave it as it is. Now here is where things become more exciting. While most 1974 quarters are common, certain rare varieties and mint errors can make this coin much more valuable. Some coins from this year have been found with doubled die errors, where parts of the lettering or design appear slightly doubled. Others may show off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly aligned. There can also be die cracks, weak strikes, or unusual surface features caused during the minting process. These errors are not easy to find, but they are the reason collectors carefully examine even the most worn coins. A coin does not need to look perfect to be valuable. In fact, many rare coins have been discovered in circulated condition just like this one. The key is to look closely at the details and know what to search for. Even though a normal 1974 quarter in this condition is usually worth only its face value, rare error versions can reach impressive prices. Some collectors have paid between $76,000 and $83,500 for coins with strong, clear errors and high demand. These values depend on the rarity and visibility of the error, but they show how a simple coin can turn into something extraordinary. Another important detail is the mint mark, or in this case, the lack of one. Coins without a mint mark from this period come from Philadelphia, and while they were produced in large numbers, they can still have unique features or errors. Knowing the origin of the coin helps collectors compare it with known varieties and better understand its potential value. If you ever come across a coin like this, it is a good idea to take a closer look. Check the design, examine the surface, and see if anything looks unusual. If you notice something different, it may be worth getting the coin checked by an expert or a professional grading service. Sometimes, small details can make a big difference. When it comes to selling, patience is very important. A coin with potential value should not be sold quickly without proper research. It is always better to understand what you have and find the right buyer. Many collectors sell coins through dealers, online marketplaces, or auctions, but knowing the true value of your coin is the most important step. In the end, the 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark in old, dirty condition is a perfect reminder that value is not always easy to see. A coin that looks worn and ordinary can still carry history, meaning, and even the possibility of something rare. It has traveled through time, been used in everyday life, and survived years of handling. So the next time you find an old quarter in your pocket or a jar, don't ignore it. Take a closer look, study the details, and think about its journey. Because hidden inside that small, worn coin could be a story, a rare feature, and maybe even a value far greater than you ever expected. Last coin is the 1977 Washington quarter dollar, and this one comes without a mint mark, in heavily circulated, old and worn condition. At first glance, it may look like just another tired coin that has seen better days, something most people would spend without a second thought. But even a coin like this carries history and sometimes hidden details that only careful eyes can notice. By 1977, the Washington quarter had already been a part of everyday American life for over 40 years. First introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington, the design stayed familiar and trusted. A quarter like this would have passed through countless hands, used in shops, vending machines, and daily purchases. The fact that this coin has no mint mark tells us it was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which at that time often did not include a mint mark on its coins. This small detail helps collectors understand where the coin came from. Now take a close look at the front. You will see the portrait of George Washington facing left, but in this heavily circulated condition, most of the fine details are worn down. The hair, cheek, and jawline appear very smooth, almost flat in some areas. The word Liberty and the date 1977 are still visible, but they may not look as bold or sharp as they once did. The phrase "In God We Trust" can still be seen, though it may appear lighter due to wear. Turning to the back, the eagle design is still there, but much of its detail has faded. The feathers are worn smooth and the finer lines are harder to see. Even so, the main shape of the eagle remains clear, along with the words United States of America and quarter dollar. This tells us that even though the coin is in rough condition, it is still easy to identify. The condition of this coin shows strong signs of long use. There are many surface scratches, small marks, and areas where the coin looks dull and uneven. The color may appear darker or slightly dirty due to years of handling, dirt buildup, and natural aging. This kind of wear is expected for a coin that has been in circulation for a long time. While it may not look attractive, it reflects the coin's journey through everyday life. Even in this worn state, collectors still pay attention to key details. The main question is whether the design and lettering are still readable, and in this case they are. That means the coin still holds some level of collector interest, especially for those who enjoy coins with history and character. Now here is where things can become more interesting. Some 1977 Washington quarters have been found with minting errors. These can include doubling in the letters or numbers, where parts of the design look slightly repeated or blurred. Some coins may be struck off-center, where the design is not properly aligned. Others may show die cracks, which appear as thin raised lines across the surface. These features are not easy to see, especially on a heavily worn coin, but they can still be present. If one of these errors is found, it can greatly increase the coin's interest and value. Because this coin has no mint mark, it is identified as a Philadelphia issue. While many coins were made there, collectors still compare coins from different mints and years to look for rare variations. Even small differences can matter in the world of coin collecting. It is also important to remember that by 1977 quarters were made from a copper-nickel blend, not silver. This means the value usually comes from condition and rarity rather than metal content. In most cases, a heavily circulated 1977 quarter without a mint mark is worth close to its face value. However, coins with strong error features or unusual details can sell for much more. In some cases, collectors have paid over $300 for a 1977 quarter with clear minting errors. If you believe you may have a coin worth more than 25 cents, it is important to take care of it. Do not clean the coin, as cleaning can lower its value. Keep it in a safe place and consider showing it to a coin expert or grading service. When it comes time to sell, you can use coin dealers, auction houses, or online marketplaces where collectors are always searching for coins like this. Clear photos and honest descriptions can help you get the best result. What makes this coin special is not how it looks today, but the story it carries. It has been used, worn down, and passed from person to person over many years. It is a small piece of history that has quietly traveled through time. So before you ignore a worn-out 1977 Washington quarter, take a moment to look closer. Even in old, heavily circulated condition, it may still hold more than just its face value. Sometimes, the most worn coins carry the most interesting stories, and every now and then, they can also carry hidden value waiting to be found.